Along with upgrading Whiteface Mountain and the Olympic venues, there is also a push by many to improve cell service in the Adirondacks. That and the possibility of New York legalizing recreational marijuana highlighted this Chamber of Commerce legislative forum this past week. All three North Country state representatives, Senator Betty Little, Assemblyman Billy Jones, and Assemblyman Dan Steck, back having higher cell towers in the Adirondacks, which they say will provide better cell phone reception.
I don't believe that people object to seeing a cell tower anymore. I never have, but there are people who thought the visual thing was really the thing that kept us back and made us have shorter cell towers and have to have more of them.
Little has championed the need for expanded cell coverage on Interstate 87 for more than a decade, ever since a driver from Brooklyn went off the Northway and froze to death, trapped in his car. He was unable to get a signal to call for help. And while environmentalists are concerned about how large towers would affect the viewshed of the Adirondacks, Little and Assemblyman Dan Steck say they believe times have changed and that people are more used to seeing higher towers.
Everyone's familiar with some terrible examples of past tragedies that have occurred because of a lack of cell coverage. And to that point, Betty talked about fewer, which would be less expensive, and taller, which would be more effective. I think we have turned a page on the acceptance by a wider group of people to the existence of cell towers. I think they're viewed now as essential infrastructure, safety infrastructure, and more importantly, they're not new anymore. So they're out there. So the fear of how ugly are these things going to be? Are they going to ruin the view? So I think the time is right, Senator, to go at that again and say, hey, let's do this. Let's have a reasonable, intelligent approach to cell towers in the park.
The Turnpike, 374, Route 11, those are our major routes, and we're losing coverage on that. We got a lot of work left to do, let alone when we get into the Adirondacks or some of the more remote areas of our districts. I mean, so it's still a huge issue.
But the Adirondack Council spokesman John Sheehan told the Press Republican this week they disagree with the senator and assemblyman, and that while higher towers are appropriate in some areas, the concern is still protecting the view that sets the Adirondack Park apart from other places in the Northeast. Sheehan says there are many ways of disguising towers in the park, and that the state can, in his words, build out the technology without destroying the view. Another topic at the forum, the lawmakers say they cautiously support the state looking into legalizing marijuana. Jones, a former corrections officer, and Steck say law enforcement officers and prosecutors have concerns.
I think as far as recreational marijuana is something that will be discussed, is being discussed. I think we have to work our way into it.
Although Little, who supports medical marijuana, says there appears to be growing evidence that marijuana can be used as an exit drug to help addicts using opioids or heroin.